Today begins a really exciting series on how can you know your past lives from clues in your present life. That is pretty exciting. In other words, you don't have to go to a hypnotherapist. There are actually things about your present life that give you clues about your previous life. And today is going to be the first episode. So, naturally, if we're going to look at our past lives, it's a good idea to look at why would we want to do that. So, that's what episode 1 today is about. And so, I'm asking you, why do you want to know your past lives? Maybe you already know them, or maybe you have a feeling. But let me just go through the list of really good reasons to be looking at your past life, whether you already know them or whether you're going to find them out. And I suggest you keep notes as we go along. So, but today we're going to look at why. Hello, hello, hello. It's Carolyn Chapman. All right, number 1, curiosity, of course. What was I in my past life? I mean, people wonder. We, of course, hope that we were somebody rich and famous, unless maybe we are rich and famous now and we know it's not a piece of cake. We just wonder, what could we have been in a past life? Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, it helps to make sense. It helps to make sense of your present life, to know about a past life. For example, I have previous videos of mine in which I wondered why I feel hungry all the time. Even though I eat, even though I have a great, huge meal, sometimes after I finish the meal, I still feel hungry, which of course has given me problems with weight gain in this lifetime. Well, it turns out that I was in a concentration camp during the Holocaust. So it makes sense that in this lifetime, I have issues with hunger and just wanting to eat and eat because of the fear that there just might not be any food soon. So that's your second point, to make sense of your present life. Number 3, there's this great joy of finding out what it's like to be another person. Ever think of that? Do you ever look at somebody else and wonder, what's it like to live their life? I often think when I'm looking at people's videos that this person, like me, when they shoot their videos, then when they edit their videos, they're looking at themselves and they feel invested in who they are. But this person looks very different from me. And I often wonder, what is it like to be them? Well, I've had the wonderful experience of knowing what it's like to be certain other kinds of people. And I have some videos on that, which one was about having been a gay man, a sailor who was a gay man in a very loving relationship with another man. And another one was of being a Black woman. Of course, I didn't know I was Black because it was pre colonial Africa. So, as far as we were concerned, human beings were just like us. We didn't travel, we didn't have TV, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have texting, videos on YouTube. All we knew was us. And it was really exciting to be this kind of person in this tribe of extremely loving people. All of us cared for each other so much. So that's the third reason, the joy of finding out what it's like to be another kind of human being. So, number 4, to find a soulmate. Now, a woman wrote to me and she said she had met this man and there was this sense of having known him before. And she ended up being involved with another man. But then this first man came back in her life and she realized that the first man, she actually knew him from a previous life. And she just had so much empathy for him and felt so comfortable with him. And she ended up being with the first man because they had more than this lifetime together. They had at least one more life before that. So, another good reason for looking into your past lives is to find people you have connections with. Now, this is the best one of all. It's number 5 in the list, and it is to know that you're immortal, that you're an eternal being. Because after all, if you remember a past life or you realize that in this life there are indications that you lived before, then this fear that the world seems to live in about what's going to happen, what's the future going to be, at least you know that your future is continuous. And anyway, it's one thing that has really, really, really made a huge difference in my life to have known previous lifetimes for that reason. Now, the 6th reason for knowing past lives, and this one has to do with something I've touched on before, and it is that almost always we remember, this is when we remember past lives, say in a dream or when we go to a hypnotherapist, and perhaps these types of memories will come up in the exercises we're going to do in this series. But it helps a person to release trauma from their past because often we are remembering or carrying the effects of a previous life in this lifetime. And Eastern religions would call it karma. So it helps us to deal with this karma that we're dealing with. In other words, there are things in our life that are obvious. They have a cause and effect in this lifetime, but there are other things that we say, how could that happen to me? I'm a good person. Well, it often has come from something in a past life. All right, now my 7th and last point. I've been talking about the pros of looking at your past lives and wondering what they are. This is going to be a con because people say, why bother looking at your past life? Why don't you just deal with the present? Who wants to go? It's foolish to go looking in the past. Well, good heavens, you should tell that to somebody who likes history. I mean, what is the value of learning history? History helps us to learn from our mistakes, to learn about what works and what doesn't work. For example, say Winston Churchill, who is so well appreciated and renowned for basically bringing our world through the Second World War to triumph. And he studied history. He knew all about different kinds of battles, different kinds of leaders, different types of generals. He was immersed in studying the history of countries and civilizations. So, all right, so those are my 7 points. And next episode is going to be next Tuesday, which is going to be April 11th, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And I'm going to be looking at the question, where did I live in my past life? And just to remind you, in 2 days, Thursday, which is April 6th, my regular live stream on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And this is a continuation of my video on falling into the serpent's mouth, a memory of Atlantis. And so on Thursday, I'm going to be asking, is that memory of falling into a serpent's mouth real? Are there any proofs for that strange memory? Well, I've enjoyed talking with you tonight, and I hope you've gotten a whole bunch out of this. Please leave comments, and if you got something out of this, please tap that like button. Well, toodaloo. Bye-bye.